By 2028, the music industry is projected to lose more than 20% of its revenue to artificial intelligence. Not because people stopped listening, not because streaming killed album sales, but because AI can now generate music in an instant, and the best part is, it's now for free. So the question then becomes, why pay a human musician when a machine can produce a song in seconds? And here's what makes it worse. That same AI was trained on the work of real artists. Their songs, their style, their years of craft, used to build that very tool that is now replacing them, without their consent, without their knowledge, and without paying them a single dollar. So, before we can talk about what should be done, it helps to understand what we are actually dealing with. Generative AI music is exactly what it sounds like: artificial intelligence that creates original music on its own. You simply type a prompt, something as simple as upbeat indie folk song about a road trip, and within seconds the system produced a fully formed track: melody, instrumentation, structure, lyrics, all of it. Tools like Suno already do this in the studio. You do not need to play an instrument, you do not need to know music theory, you do not need to know years of practice. You need a prompt and internet connection. So, how does the AI know what to do with an indie song anyway? How does it know what it sounds like? How does it know what a chord progression feels like? Or how does it know how a verse should build into a chorus? Well, it learned it from listening to thousands and thousands of songs. It was trained on enormous libraries of existing music, music made by real artists, uploaded to the internet, scrapped without permission, and fed into a model until a machine could replicate the patterns well enough to generate something new. That is the foundation of the technology. And that foundation is built on borrowed, some would say stolen, creative labor. So now these tools exist. They're already being used by content creators, advertisers, filmmakers, and everyday people looking for background music. They are cheap, they're fast, and they're getting better every month. Which brings it back to that number: 20% gone by 2028. This is according to the reporting of the research of the CISAC, which is an international body representing music creators worldwide. They project income loss for working musicians and audiovisual workers, not corporate profits, not label revenue, the income of session players, independent songwriters, and producers who have built their careers out of craft. The machine that replaced them was built by them, and nobody was asked. So, that asks the question of, what is the world doing about it? Well, in March 2024, the United Nations General Assembly passed its first ever resolution on artificial intelligence. 193 nations agreed that AI development should be safe, secure, and trustworthy. For the first time in history, the entire international community formally acknowledged that this technology needs guardrails. That matters. Getting nearly 200 nations to agree on anything is genuinely difficult, and it signals that the conversation has shifted from something that should be worked on to something that we are doing. But here is that word that keeps appearing every time when I read those documents carefully. Not law, not mandate, not any kind of enforcement mechanism, but recommendation. The UN resolution is a statement of intent. Nations are encouraged to act on it, but they are not required to. The UNESCO, the UN's cultural body, went further into their recommendation on the ethics of artificial intelligence. It specifically addresses human rights, cultural diversity, transparency, and protection of creative expression. The recommendations are aimed to protect creative expression. It names artists, it names workers, it says their interest matters. And yet, it is still just a recommendation. The technology keeps moving, the AI-generated albums keep uploading, the streams keep accumulating, and the artists keep absorbing losses, and nothing is stopped. So, where does that leave us today? Well, right now, generative AI music is legal, largely unregulated, already on every major streaming platform, and improving faster than any policy response can match. The rules exist on paper, the UN has spoken, the UNESCO has written the principles, but enforcement is patchy, implementation is slow, and the artists are losing income today, and they're not waiting on a recommendation to become law. What the next few years look like depend on a few things that are genuinely still undecided. Will courts start ruling that training AI on copyrighted music without their consent is infringement? Several lawsuits are already working through the legal system right now, brought by artists and labels against AI companies. The outcomes will shape the technology and how it is allowed to move forward. Will platforms like Spotify take responsibility for what they host? Right now, they largely don't. AI generated music sits along human music with no clear labeling, no clear distinction, no transparency for listeners about what they're actually hearing. That does not have to stay true. Every stream, every playlist, every dollar spent on music is a small piece of a much larger system. And systems respond to pressure when enough people apply it. Pressure on platforms to label AI generated content, pressure on lawmakers to move faster than the technology, and pressure on AI companies to compensate the artists whose work they made their tools possible. I started this project by asking if AI music should be regulated, and I'm ending it asking something harder. If it is regulated, by whom? Accountable by whom? And on behalf of whom? The next time you press play, know that these questions are still open, and that the answer depends, in part, on whether people like you and me decide if they are worth asking.